Hey guys, this is Alpha Liaform, and I'm showing you a video that played like 4 in the morning against the AI. It's a 2v2, and I was just basically fed up with how difficult everything was. And so far I won like one game online, and I forgot to save the replay. But I always play as the Russians just because I just want to, because I just want to check out like how they're going to be different, and I haven't played as the Germans really yet. But yeah, this is I set the computer on standard, I think, and then I put the two AI on like standard, and it was an intense fight. But yeah, my thoughts on the game are that I kind of feel like the game resorts too much to like functioning the same way it did before, where like you have squads and everything. Obviously, you're still gonna have all that, but like it plays very much the same as if you were playing as Americans or the British in the past or the Germans. There isn't really like a substantial difference to characterize the way the Russians would fight. I feel like they should have had like maybe I don't know if they should have had like more people in squads or something, but like or some abilities that would be true to the character of the way the Russians fought, like charging into enemy lines and stuff like that. I mean, there's penal battalions and all that, but they're not like I don't know. I love the game, but I just don't feel like the Russians really like were exploited to the full extent, if that makes sense. Like they didn't really make them like, I don't know, they just fight like all the other armies fought, you know, but the game works really well that way. So, you know, completely restructuring the game for, you know, a company that's going to make this would be really like dangerous and difficult, and who knows how it would turn out. And it's not like there aren't abilities that resemble those things that the Russians did, but you know, there was the penal squad and everything, which I have never used because I'm like, well, it's just going to be what more like a more damageable infantry unit. That's more expandable. So it wasn't really like lucrative, but the fighting gets pretty intense here pretty soon. I haven't been able to max the game out to full graphics or anything because it's because I don't have my new computer yet, but I will once that comes in. Yeah, but one of the things I love about this is this circle here, that when you walk into it, the flag automatically gets captured, like in a Battlefield or something. Even though Battlefield is a first-person shooter, but I think that's a really good idea. That it makes a lot of sense, so you don't have to, so that you don't get like a misclick or something, and then you know you didn't capture a point because you didn't click on it right. This is pretty much guaranteed every time, as long as you hold that position, that you'll take it. I think that's a really good idea. Let's see, I like the Katyushas that they have. That's like one of my favorite things to put on the battlefield, and just now and then send rockets lobbing over at the enemy. If you can keep that thing alive, it's pretty devastating over a long period of time. Although I've never had that be my like main unit that I used yet. Like I've never been able to be hyper efficient with it. Usually it's the sniper that's really efficient for me, because they're kind of easy to spam and they're really good against infantry. So let's see, usually out of the three, I haven't really found any of these leaders to be like substantially better, because if you get the heavy tank one, it takes so long to get to it that I don't know. That's another thing I want to talk about, is like the Russians have, it almost feels like they're underpowered as far as like getting equipment on the field to be able to take out tanks. It feels like once the Germans get to the tanks, like I can, even online against real people, I can fight with infantry and snipers and all that and mortars and machine guns really well and push the enemy back and do like really clever little moves. But as soon as like tanks start coming out, you as the Russians, you like really have to scramble to get anything done. Like you really have to get clever, because their Panzer is better than the T-34, which, alright, it might have been, but you know, Russian production should have been faster, and that's like what I was saying before, is like it's not really characterized. Like Russians had crappier tanks, but they produced them at a faster rate. Eventually they would just swarm the Germans with like hundreds of them. But that's not really shown through this game, you know, and all the tanks just kind of get pounded by everything that the Germans have. So when you play one-on-one especially, it's like really difficult. Well, I found it really difficult to, in that second part of the game where you're fighting with tanks, to really be any sort of efficient against real people, because they I can push them back really far, and then they'll spawn the tanks, and you kind of get pushed back all the way to your base, because their tanks are so incredibly durable. So that's one thing I don't like, is that the Russians don't really have, they're not really given anything. Even the infantry units, they don't have any kind of, I mean, as far as I know, maybe there is later on in the game, maybe I don't know about something, but because I haven't played it that much yet, but there isn't like rocket launchers you can get like before your infantry and all. They could be equipped with that stuff. Ew, awesome. That's wow. Those are just mortars. That's another thing I'll go into later, but mortars in this game are just retardedly powerful. Like you just saw, there was like 3 almost fully healthy squads that got turned to dust after like 3 shells. It's really quite incredible and annoying. I don't know if they should take down the power, but it's right now it's just like it feels quite a bit overpowered, the mortars. But yeah, I think the Russians should get something that can destroy tanks and stuff. Like these elite guard rifle infantry the Russians had rifles near the end of the war that could puncture, you know, tank armor, and they were like sniper rifles. So you had like these 2-man teams carrying like these really heavy rifles that could punch through armor, and you know, obviously maybe not Panzers or something, but it just feels like once you get to the second stage of the game, you're just instantly on the back foot all the time, because you can't really fight the Germans toe to toe. But you're expected to, with the same sort of amount of people and the same kind of squads, and I don't know. I just feel like right now it needs to be a little bit more kind of. If the Russians are expected to fight with just like infantry against tanks, then there should be a shit ton of infantry and something to compensate for like their lack of ability to take out tanks, you know. But maybe I'm wrong, because we have one with the Russians with using T-34s and other armored vehicles. It's just like, it just feels like unless you're really good, you're gonna be on the back foot all the time, constantly getting pounded and pushed back, and then they take another, you know, they spawn another tank, and it gets even more difficult. So I don't know, one-on-one the game feels very kind of sided towards the Germans, and maybe that's just because the Germans are similar to the way they played before and people are experienced, and I'm just starting to play as the Russians, and so it's a little bit harder, but we'll see as the time goes on. Again, the game is in beta stage, so maybe I'm being like way too critical, but those are just my thoughts for right now. You know, obviously the game is going to be polished by the time it comes out, because it looks like they're doing a lot of work on it and stuff like that. There's constant patching during the beta process, and they're you know, trying to fix things and stuff. So I'm excited. I feel like the infantry fighting is amazing in this game, as it was before, but I don't know. Somehow the game feels different when you fight. Like maybe it's the fact that they power down the sniper spam a little bit. The snipers aren't as brutal. They can't just sit back here and take out guys like over here. I'm not sure if they could before, but the game felt a lot easier before. Maybe that's because I played against like easy AI or something, but I don't know. It's like the same, but it feels like a little bit more actiony. This is where I thought we were gonna lose, right here, because they had like tons and tons of stuff, but we prevailed. Because luckily I pushed this thing out to be able to take on all this armored stuff. Do you see what I'm talking about? We hit him in the front and did like almost no damage. Obviously that was a side hit, but like it just feels like this artillery thing, it would do nothing to a Panzer. It feels like, I mean, it just like bounces off. Oh, and even the vehicle that's designated for, is that guy missing an arm? No. Even the vehicle that's designated, I'm not sure which one it is right now, but it's designated specifically for fighting tanks. It's not that good against the tanks. It's okay, but you're seeing like the shells bouncing off its armor, you know. And that might have been against the later stage tank for the Germans, but I'm not sure. It might have been just like not good. I don't know. That little anti-tank vehicle just did nothing to it, so I was really annoyed when I was playing a multiplayer game. But I just feel like the Russians need more of a punch as far as versing, fighting tanks and armored vehicles. Like there needs to be something else to make it a little bit more fair, because the infantry I feel like is pretty balanced, but the tanks are not. That's basically my main point. But yeah, can't wait for the actual game to come out. I'm sure the campaign will be a lot of fun. I can't wait to see how that turns out, because that's like pretty awesome, I think. Yeah, I built like 3 mortars back here, and my ally had mortars, because they're so powerful in this game. They, like I said, they can like one-shot squads into being completely disabled. Yeah. Let's zoom in for some closer action here. Obviously this is not maxed out by any means, because the computer is older. But yeah, another thing is that I don't really like the way the Russians look, except for one infantry unit, those elite rifle guards. They have like capes on the back with those giant rifles. They look pretty cool, but the rest of them look really just like underwhelming. Like, and I know the Russians didn't have like really cool uniforms and stuff, and they had like really cheap stuff, but like, geez, they look so kind of boring to me. I don't know. I'm sure their uniforms and everything like resemble a real thing, but like I was hoping they would beef them up somehow to make them look interesting. But like, I just feel like I'm playing with like these kind of I don't know, very similar looking units that are hard to distinguish from each other. I don't know, they're more interesting like when you zoom in a little bit, but that's pretty cool. Yeah, this battlefield gets turned into just nothingness after a while. We took it right after they lost it. Ew. Wow. And then I put it right on that line to be able to use it as a several glitches I found that were severely annoying was I had one of these that I lost on the field, and then I tried to take it back. It was 2v2, and I couldn't maneuver it at all after my guys took it back. I couldn't turn it, so there are like very major glitches that you'll come across now and then. So that's not good, but overall the game feels very similar to what it was before. So yeah, basically my strategy was to have something that fires long, something that fires even longer with the mortars, and then infantry squad, one infantry squad in the front to be able to kind of hold back when they charge like 4 squads at you, at least to some extent. And as soon as they stop, the mortars start hitting them and demolishing them. See, if this was my squad, the mortars, the very first mortar would have already killed that squad, but they're still alive. And look at how they're like shooting over here for some reason, not right on top of them every single time. I do love the way the music starts playing when there's really epic combat going on. The music gets like very epic and kind of, I don't know what it is for the Germans, if there is music or not, but the Russians have this cool kind of patriotic ensemble going on in the background, which I find really cool. Yeah, we basically, because this game was Annihilation, we would have lost totally if it wasn't Annihilation, me and my AI, but because it was not that, we just slowly started pushing back once we get enough artillery and mortars, and it's very hard to find like a balance. For some reason, when you play against the computer, they're always able to just like push really hard forward, lose a lot of units, but then at the same rate be able to push out the same amount of units. Like, it doesn't even matter if you kill them, they'll just keep coming with the same like amount every single time. It's really frustrating. I don't know if, I'm not sure if the AI is even adjustable. Like, it feels like it's on hard all the time, and it might be on easy, which would be incredible that they could make easy that hard. But yeah, the game's pretty difficult right now, I'm not gonna lie. Even for a strategy lover like me, it's not a lot of fun. Oh yeah, that's the final strategy, was to have mortars, artillery, infantry, and then in the back Katyusha, to be able to basically all fire at the same point, if that makes sense. So the infantry fights for whatever's in front of it. These things fight a little bit, you know, they shoot further. The mortars are lobbing in basically the same place. So as soon as this unit stops right here, all of these units can fire into the same point, basically. I just had to not forget to keep my infantry squad up there. And oh, I didn't lose them. Oh, my frame rate is at like 13. But yeah, that's basically, I pushed them back as long as I was holding this position. I was holding them off really efficiently. Oh yeah, I think I pushed this unit back to get it repaired. The flamethrowers look like they have a lot more range too. One thing I don't like is that infantry squads gain veterancy when they get killed, which doesn't make sense. You can have one of your units sit there and pound away at the enemy, and they're getting like the veteran points. It always seems like whenever you're downing like an infantry squad, they always get like 2 stars before they leave the battlefield with one guy. Meanwhile, you're the one who won that battle, and your reward is that they're alive, basically. You know, kind of annoying, but yeah, that's my Katyusha there, demolishing everything. These things are only good in the very beginning of the game, because everything kills them. Oh yeah, this tank. You would think this looks like it can take on a Panzer. It can't. Or it might be even with it, but it's a tank destroyer, so it should be able to go up against the medium tank reasonably well, but it can't. But yeah, basically the game goes on for another like 40 minutes, which I think is unnecessary because I made all my points, and I'm gonna make full videos when I play against real people, and I just have nothing else to really. I just think it'll be better if I commentate while I play it, because I pretty much gave you guys all my thoughts on it so far. The game's amazing. It's gonna look amazing on my when I get a newer computer. Because right now when I play like 3v3, it kind of, not lags, but the frame rate goes down considerably. So but yeah, I just gave you guys all my thoughts on it, basically my beginning thoughts. Obviously I'm not like, I haven't played this game for hundreds of hours, so maybe it's like kind of unfair to say the Russians are underpowered. That's just what it feels like to me as a kind of like a noob right now. But I'll make you guys more videos, so please subscribe, and I'll make more Company of Heroes 2 videos, and eventually I'll probably get into some shooter games eventually. So I hope you guys have a great day. Bye bye.